Alright, so I know it's a little early to be doing another one of these videos because I just did one of these videos, but I had 3 movies I watched that I was very excited about watching, and I finally sat down to watch them, and I want to talk about them. So let's start with the one I watched first. This is a very excellent Mr. Dundee, which I didn't know too much about this movie. It came out last year, and I watched it because the Crocodile Dundee movies are coming to Blu-ray, and I knew this one existed. I want to watch it, and it's not what I expected it was. It actually isn't a Crocodile Dundee movie. What this movie actually is, it's a parody of the fact that Crocodile Dundee movies are very successful movies, and Paul Hogan is known as that character from the movie, and no one actually will just treat Paul Hogan like he's Paul Hogan. They treat him like he's the character from the movie, trying to stand out. So it's kind of a parody movie, which I kind of like this concept, but I don't like how they handle it. See, what I think would have been funny is if they had played on the fact that he's an Australian stereotype in that movie. I mean, that's fun. I enjoy those movies, but they don't really play with that in this movie. There's some scenes that are really funny where these business executives are trying to make a new Crocodile Dundee movie, and they think he's a racist because he says that he doesn't like the fact that Will Smith is black, not because Will Smith is black, but because they're trying to cast Will Smith as his son, and obviously that guy is not the father of Will Smith. That doesn't make sense. So but they call him a racist because of it. And that was a really funny scene because it feels like, with some of those casting decisions, maybe it is like that. And it is really funny to parody that kind of stuff. But there are other times it's wasted potential. And that's the best way to describe this movie, just wasted potential. There are moments I laughed. If you want to watch it, I don't think it's a miserable one-time watch. I think Paul Hogan's very charismatic in the lead. Chevy Chase in it and John Cleese in it are okay. But, it's fine. It's just I don't know. Next movie we're talking about is more wasted potential. SpongeBob, the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, and this is the third SpongeBob movie. Came out last year on this year on Paramount Plus. Supposed to come out last year, but because of COVID, it didn't. It was supposed to actually go to theaters, then didn't end up going there. And yeah, I liked this movie somewhat. In terms of animation, I definitely loved it. Here, let me grab this so I can kind of, So I have all 3 SpongeBob movies. I've watched all 3. And you'll rewatch these ones again after watching this one. But yeah, this movie is very terrible. That's not a sentence. Very terrible. This movie is very terrible. No, it's very bad. That's what it is. And what's annoying about this movie is this. There is not a story to this movie. There's a main plot, right, where SpongeBob goes on this adventure to go get Gary back, which is kind of a ripoff off of an episode. And if you just compare the episodes, it's really not fair because this movie does not try to make you care about SpongeBob, and Gary's relationship. He just randomly goes on this journey to get Gary after Plankton gives him to the Neptune guy. And and it's they don't even try to make you feel that amount of sympathy. They even have a flashback scene, but the flashback scene is literally useless. It's literally what you see in the trailer where the snail crawls up to SpongeBob and goes, "Hi, little snail. You want a treat?" He gives him a little treat, and then the scene ends. That's all it is. That's what a lot of these kid flashbacks are, which was supposed to set up a spin-off, which I've not seen and don't really want to see. So, yeah, it's just it's kind of worthless in that sense, because it's just okay, but why? Why is this a plot point in this movie? It didn't really have anything to do with the movie. A lot of this movie was also really irritating because it was a lot of filler, characters just sitting around saying things. And I think I wouldn't mind that because SpongeBob Out of Water here kind of did the same thing, but that movie was funny. and the comedy made it worth it. But the comedy here is like, it almost feels non-existent. I know a couple times they're trying to tell jokes, but it almost feels like the whole movie is not very funny. So it's not a really funny movie, and the story isn't good. See, the first SpongeBob movie isn't funny either. I know some people might disagree with that, but there's not that much comedy in that movie overall. But it's a fun movie because it has a story, and the story's good of that movie. It feels like an epic grand scale type movie, and this movie isn't that. And so it just feels awkward. This movie, it isn't very good, and if you like SpongeBob, if you really like SpongeBob, even to the point where you like the newer seasons of SpongeBob, then it at least is worth one watch. The animation is gorgeous in this movie, though I will say at times it did move kind of stiff. So like I noticed with King Neptune, it was very stiff. It almost felt stop motion-esque. And I like stop motion, but it felt like very stiff stop motion though. And yeah, it's an interesting, weird movie. Keanu Reeves is a really bad cameo in this movie. Yeah, it was a very filler movie. I actually fell asleep through the first time watching it. And then I picked up where I left off after I woke up. But it was just like, yeah, I did that because this movie is just so boring. Nothing happens. And I just don't like this movie. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on those. Putting these right back over here. So let's talk about this one. Coraline. This is the Shout Factory release, which I had the normal Blu-ray, and I upgraded. And this is a really great, terrific Blu-ray. First of all, you get this amazing booklet here. And you can kind of see the people, that's an animator, working on the set, moving characters. And, yeah, there's that. Just a lot of cool stuff about the movie. And you get my Blu-ray disc is actually in my Blu-ray player, but, there's that. And then there's the front, cool art. Tons of bonus features, tons and tons of stuff. But this movie is great. If you've never seen Coraline, it is a masterpiece, this movie. It's very interesting because, a lot of adults seem to think that children can't handle horror. And so you don't get a lot of children's horror. But this movie is a straight-up horror movie involving a lady who rips children's eyes out and takes their souls. That's kind of what this movie's about. And children love it. I know when I was younger, and my sister too, we were frightened by it. We were very scared by it. But then there's other kids who love horror, and including myself, who loved it. I was scared by it, but I loved it. My sister couldn't handle it. And that's what I think is, the neat thing about children's horror, is it should exist. Lots of kids love horror. They love the dark and creepy, weird things. And it's okay for those types of things to exist. Because, I was scared by movies like The Dark Crystal and this one. And when I was watching them as a kid, really young, I loved them. And I had appreciation for them. Even at that age, even though I was terrified, but I was terrified in a way where I couldn't, look away. I just wanted to see it because it was so fascinating. This movie's beautifully animated. The score is really good. That's an underrated part about this movie. The score is really good. The voice acting is amazing. And it's just an incredible world. Stop motion, again, beautiful, beautiful work here. Just a 10 out of 10 movie, really. It's very creepy. It's very odd. I know there's some people who think this movie is actually so creepy that it should have been rated PG-13, not PG. Personally, I don't think that. Because the thing about PG means parental guidance. And this is one of those movies where some kids can handle it and others can't. And that's what real parental guidance means. It's some can handle it, some can't. So it's up for a parent to watch this movie and decide, But what I was really impressed by is I watched this movie many times on the original Blu-ray. And this movie looks immaculate. This movie is gorgeous. It looks better than the original Blu-ray. This transfer is 11 out of 10. That is how good this thing is. This is gorgeous. It felt like I was watching a different movie because of how beautiful this movie was. And I've seen this movie before, but it literally felt like I was watching a different movie because it's so pretty. What I really like is these are all Leica films, which Leica is the company that makes these movies. And they do Box Trolls, Paranorman, Kubo. Those are the next Box Trolls you can already buy, which I'm going to buy. Paranorman you can't yet, and Kubo you can't. They come out next month. but they're $15 a piece. They're actually up for pre-order on Amazon right now. Anyways, what's really great about those movies is that they're really, really good in price. And not just that, but like there's a new logo created for this, so it tells you that Shout Factory is going to be doing amazing stuff with these movies, and I can't wait to see what they do with this line, because these movies are so special and unique, and they're not very well known movies. This one is, but the ones like Kubo, Paranormal Box Trolls, are not as well known as they probably should be, and so them actually doing like really, really intense, great remasters, updating these films for like a newly restored audience, to find these films at really good prices. Maybe there's people wanting to check these out, but now hearing about how good these Blu-rays are, they will, and that's what's really great about this Blu-ray line. I'm definitely going to collect them all. There's only 4 out, or 4 that have been announced so far. And this is one of them that's out of right now. Box Trolls is also out, Paranorman and Kubo next month, which I'll be getting all 4 of those, and then they're eventually going to do Missing Link, which I will get to. Which Kubo Missing Link I already have, but I'll definitely rebuy them for this line, because I want all my movies to match as one set. They look gorgeous. They're great movies. If you've never seen them, you definitely should watch all their movies. Though Box Trolls is a little more of an acquired taste. It has a very it's more of a comedy film, and it has a very odd sense of humor that some people might not get into, but still, I adore it. So yeah, that is my thoughts on the Leica films, or all the films I watched recently. These are all great, very quality movies, but I wanted to talk about them. So